Hello and welcome back to Batty's Aquaverse. In this video, we are going to talk about the ideal setup of apistogramma cichlids. To begin with, they are dwarf South American cichlids, and like other South American cichlids, they prefer a bit softer water. They will do well in tanks with lots of plants, drifts or shelters in the form of caves. They will be stressed out with bigger tank mates, and in order to see their real beauty, they should be the biggest fish in the tank. An ideal setup would be a 2 feet tank with a super fine substrate, preferably darker colored with lots of drifts and leaf litter. The older the hardscape, the better it will be for them. Mature hardscapes have algae and tons of microorganisms in them to sustain the fish while they explore their new habitat. They are very intelligent, and it will not take them a lot of time to understand where to go to get food from their owners. It just took them 2 full weeks to warm up to me. Plenty of leaf litter should be provided, as they are natural shelters against other apistos, bigger fishes. My apistos took around 2 weeks to start feeding on pellets, but they were not starving at all. The ideal starter kit for a first-timer is to get around 6 juveniles and wait for them to grow out. I added 1 male and 2 females to my tank, and they paired up within 2 months. I removed the other female and dedicated that tank to the pair. They don't prefer bright lighting. The female would look for shadows or caves to stay in most of the time, so a dimly lit tank is preferred for them. Blackwater tanks might not show their bright colors, but they will definitely provide a better environment for the fish to thrive. I kept apistogramma agassiz double red, and the females tend to be yellowish with no such fancy dorsal fin. The male tends to bully the female from time to time, and this is exactly why the tank setup has to be a complicated maze of interconnected drifts for the female to slip by a charge. Any standard cichlid pellet should be good for them, but I used to feed them frozen artemia when it was time for them to spawn. Pro tip: I used to release a bunch of freshly hatched baby brine shrimps in the tank. This would psychologically tell the female to spawn, since there is an abundant supply of food for their fries. This trick is something that I have been implementing on with positive results for other South American cichlids and smaller Central American cichlids. If keeping just a pair of apistogramma gets boring for you, try adding a small school of tetras. Cardinals or black neon tetras would be a perfect companion for them. Apistos cannot be called the easiest of fishes to keep, and I would definitely not recommend it to a novice hobbyist, but they are pretty easy to maintain once you have the tips and tricks ready with you before you start your journey. I held myself back for far too long, thinking that it was a very delicate species and needed extra care just to keep them. But once they have settled in the tank, they are as easy to keep as the other commonly available South American cichlids. I am just sharing my experience with you in the hope that someone will find my experience useful enough to gather the courage to keep them. The commonly available variants are apistogramma agassiz and apistogramma cacatuoides. I would recommend trying either of them in a 2 feet tank with plenty of drifts, leaf litter and rocks with a dim light. The tannins released from the wood and dry leaves will be enough to turn the water soft and acidic, which should be perfect for them. Get a group of 6 juveniles, they will look the same, and at that point, you can identify the males by color, grow them out, get a pair and then share the rest with your friends so that they enjoy keeping them. With this, I would like to conclude today's video on Apisto tank setup and care. Thank you for tuning in. Hit the like button if you found value in this. Subscribe if you want more species to be covered like this. Enjoy your weekend.